Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot CQDX 10.
Mike 7 X-ray Oscar Mike.
Yeah, Kilo Bravo 3 Victor X-ray Bravo. I picked you out of about 5 callers. Very good afternoon to you. My name is Mark, that's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm 15 miles southeast of the city of London. I'll give you a report on the next over, but please be aware you weren't very strong to me, but I will try and have a QSO with you. So Kilo Bravo 3 Victor X-ray Bravo, this is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. Yeah, Francesco, I think I've got the name correct. I know you're using 100 watts and an off-center fed dipole. This side, you're just a 4 and 1. Thank you for the 5 and 2. You are a 4 and 1. You're not very strong at all, but a 4 and 1 thereabouts. But I'm using 100 watts. I'm using an IC-7300, and I'm also using a 5/8 wave vertical. So I'm using relatively low power, all things considered, and I'm using quite a simple antenna system with no direction. So that's the story, old man. Back to you, KB3 VXB M0 JCF.
QSL, I'm also using an ICOM 7300 here. ICOM 7300, I can tell you right away my compressor at number 3, and 100 watts. Yep, yeah, you're doing very good. You were up to 5 and 3, well, actually even a little over, but let's just say 5 and 3 here. Yeah, propagation on 10 meters coming back. Hallelujah.
Yeah, KB3 VXB M0 JCF. Well, I got the hallelujah 5 and 5. Big QSB on your signal. You're swinging now between 5 and 5 and about say a 5 and 1 now, but perfectly readable. My settings on my radio, I've got my mic gain at 70%. I've got my compression at 5, so I've got the compression slightly higher than you, and mic gain is 70%. The microphone I'm using is the Icon Sierra Mic 20, the Sierra Mic 20 desk microphone. Back to you.
73, thank you very much. I got a phone call. 73, thank you very much.
Take your phone call. Good luck. 73, thank you again. Bye-bye for now. QRZ, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, southeast of England. And nothing is heard. CQ, CQDX, CQDX. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. 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 Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, CQDX on 10. Okay, was the station coming back to me? Unfortunately, very weak. You were just a 1 and 1. I can hear that you're there calling, but not working in my favour at the moment, unfortunately. Please give it a few minutes. I think propagation is up and down at the moment, at least to my QTH. Give it a few minutes and maybe we can pull you in, but I do appreciate the effort. Thank you very much. QRZ, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, southeast of England, calling DX.
Yeah, Victor 1, Yankee Alpha India, modify mobile,
Okay, I've got the number 1 Yankee Alpha India. The number 1 Yankee Alpha India, please. Go ahead.
Roger, the call sign, Delta, Victor 1, Yankee Alpha India, modify mobile, yourself?
Okay, I've got Delta Victor 1, Yankee Alpha India. I think you said you were mobile. You weren't very strong, about a 5 and 2 on that second call in, but very nice to hear the Philippines this afternoon. My name is Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I am 20 kilometers southeast from the city of London. So Delta Victor 1 Yankee Alpha India in the Philippines. I think we've got Nikki. Please go ahead, sir. 5 and 2 is your report at this time. Okay, Delta Victor 1, Yankee Alpha India, Nikki in the Philippines. Yeah, thanks for the call-in, sir, and thank you for the mobile call-in, but you have become very weak now. You've dropped from 5 and 2 back down to about a 2 and 1. Very difficult to hear you, so in case I lose you, I say thank you again for this contact. We'll talk again another day and we'll swap technical details. But for now, I wish you and your family and friends and everyone around that area a very best 73. Take care, good luck, and thank you again. You're very welcome, sir, and good luck. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, southeast of England.
I'm Mark, it's Bob, I'm at Club Shack. He was maritime mobile in the North Atlantic, Mark.
Oh, maritime mobile in the North Atlantic. Okay, I never heard any of that. I just looked him up on QRZ and got him down as Philippines. So, that was a shame. I'd like to have got his locator for that. Never mind, there's always another time. But I did think it was odd that I'm getting the USA coming in my way, and then suddenly I was getting completely opposite. But yeah, thanks for that, and I take it the course is going well today, is it? Back to you.
Yeah, so it's just on the last few days actually, so it's just one more lecture coming down, so I'm just touching the shack quickly and just scanning the band and just heard you work the guy. So okay, won't hold it. Just have a quick look. We're going to be back in about 6 or 7 minutes. Take care, catch you around.
Yeah, cheers for that, mate, and yeah, thanks for the clarification. I've just made a note in my paper logbook, and I'll pick an arbitrary locator in the North Atlantic between us and the USA, and we'll go from there. But yeah, it's great to have you on, and unusually you're not 5 and 9 to me. I don't know what antenna you're using, but you're not 5 and 9. Very unusual.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, don't know if you've got a dodgy connection, sort of 5 and 5 really. It was just very unusual, that's all.
I'm beaming at ZD9 in the hope that we might hear him here. But I'm at the Club Shack. I'm beaming about 190 degrees mark. So.
Oh, that explains a lot. That's all right. So long as you hadn't got a problem, that was all. All right, mate. Well, I'll carry on calling DX, see what pops out of the ether, and we'll go from there. But appreciate the contact. Good luck with what's left of the course. And I suppose it's next week, isn't it? His exam next weekend. Or are they doing it today? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was next weekend. But anyway, no problem. I'm rambling on. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, it's next week. Okay. Catch you later. See you later.
Yeah, cheers, mate. QRZ M0 JCF looking for DX. Okay, nothing is heard. CQD Foxtrot calling DX on 10. CQDX 10. CQDX 10. CQDX 10 meters. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. 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 Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot calling DX10. Okay, I think I got a Whiskey 4 Mike Charlie Mike. That's what it sounded like. You weren't very strong, but my name is Mark. That's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm 20 kilometres or 15 miles southeast of the city of London. So let's see if I've got the call sign right, and then I'll give you some details and a report. Whiskey 4 Mike Charlie Mike. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. This is Whiskey 4 Mike Charlie Mike. Yep, you got the call sign right. Turned on some power, so signals weren't that strong. So anyway, name here is Mark. Same as yours, and you are. Actually, I'll give you a report next time. I wasn't paying much attention. I could hear you okay. I was getting in my logbook here. How do you copy, Mark? Over.
Yeah, Mark, no problem. Fantastic name. Good choice. I'll copy you very well. 54, 5 and 4, Mark. Lovely audio. Little bit of QSB going downwards, but nothing that's really going to concern us at this time. I'm using an IC-7300, just 100 watts on the transmit. But the antenna is very simple. It's a 5/8 wave vertical just above the roof of the house, or the eaves of the house, the bottom of the roof. So that's where the base of it is. It's a little bit bent in the wind as well. I think my radiation angle may be a little bit steep. I need to go out and bend it. It's been up very many years and the wind keeps bending it. And every year I turn it around and the wind bends it back. So it's almost like an S shape now. But we'll have to do something about that. But yeah, 54, Mark. Back to you. Whiskey 4, Mike Charlie Mike, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox.
Okay, Mark. Yeah, you're about a 55, about a 5.5 year into Virginia. Good audio over this way. I'm running here a Icon 7610. About around 1,000 watts, something like that. So, yeah, sometimes 100 watts all right or less, but it seems like now we got the QSB, so the band is pretty good. I mean, I'm excited that the upper bands are coming around, and I guess that this time of year they tend to, but the summer they were pretty dead. Really not much on, a little bit on 10, but 12 meters was almost nothing. But now we've had pretty much all the bands now seem to be open, and so that's good. So anyway, just looking at your QRZ page, it's good for you on motorcycles. That's great. Motorcycles, I'm guessing. Anyway, might fill me in on that.
Yeah, W4MCM M0 JCF returning. Well, thanks a lot for the report, and thanks a lot for the 1,000 watts as well. It made all the difference as you come up out of my noise floor, which is pretty much 0 on 10 meters. So long as I select the right spot, I see on my scope I've got lots and lots of bands of noise, which will be people's chargers and TV sets and goodness knows what else that gives me a QR mix Mexico in little bandlets, so it's not a problem. I just find a dark spot on the dial. But yeah, the motorcycle, well, I don't actually own that one anymore. I don't ride on the road any longer, and that was my drag bike. That was a straight line quarter-mile bike, that one, based on a 1990 GSXR 1100 Suzuki, but with added turbocharger. Gave me about 340 horsepower. Allowed me, and I'm a big man, and it allowed me to do 0 to 156 miles an hour in 9.4 seconds. It was a quicker bike than that, but I couldn't make it go quicker because I just haven't got enough of the family jewels to make it go quicker. But yeah, motorcycling, most of my life I've been into motorcycles and motorcycle racing one way or another. But yeah, but that was my drag bike there, Mark. Back to you.
Yes, I've been on a GXR, I think it's a 1000, way back. A friend of mine had one, and he used to ride it around some, but never was adventurous, so I didn't really push it to the limits all that much because I wasn't really a big motorcycle rider, and I was, I guess, a little bit too afraid to push it too much because it had so much power. Anyway, but I have a little antique motorcycle here that was purchased from Sears and Roebuck back in 1967. It's a little 125cc motorcycle that a friend of ours gave me, and it's all original, so it's not anything like the big bike, but it's kind of neat. It's definitely an antique. It runs fine, and it was actually made by Pook of PCH from Austria, and Sears and Roebuck sold it for about 3 years, and then that was it. So anyway, that's the story of my little bike here. But yeah, I'm going to have to go here. I've got to meet somebody in a little bit, so probably need to cut it off so I can get out of here. Sounds like the band is kind of dropping a little bit as well, but I wanted definitely to give you a shout. Hope to catch you later. Maybe we can continue on with our conversation. So hopefully you can still copy M0JCF W4MCM.
Yeah, W4MCM M0JCF returning for that final. Mark, it was an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Very interesting hearing about your putsch. It's you know, the moped versions, you know, the 50cc versions back in the 70s were quite popular in this country. I was a Yamaha man, and like you, you know, you've got an old motorcycle. I'm sort of in the market at the moment for a Yamaha RD 250, 350, or even the 400, but the prices are astronomical at the moment, and for something that's just going to sit in the garage for me to look at, the station manager isn't too keen on that, but we will talk about it again. I'm always CQing on 10 and 12 meters. Just for your information, you're peaking 5 and 7, 5 and 8. There is a lot of noise on the band as well, and it sounds like, you know, the rushing of the ocean in the background, but it's not any detriment to your signal. As I say, your signal came right up. I did wonder if you was going to hit a 9, but it never happened. You peaked at 7 or 8 and then sort of dropped down towards 5 again. I've already made my report on QRZ, so you got a 5 and 4 there, but my paper logbook does reflect that, and if I talk to you in the very near future, I can always refer to that as well. Great to speak to you. We'll talk motorcycles next time. I've got a very, very checkered history in motorcycles and racing, both drag racing, road racing and speedway, which would be equivalent to your long track but on short tracks. I've had a good go. Go and do what you got to do. I wish you a very best 73, Mark, and look forward to the next time to hearing you from Virginia. W4MCM M0JCF. Cheers, old chap.
Okay, Mark, great talking to you, and we'll definitely hit you up next time and continue the conversation. Take care and have a great weekend. M0JCF, W4MCM. Cheers.
Cheers, very, very welcome. It was a great pleasure. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, looking for DX on 10. Nothing is heard. CQDX, 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, CQDX, 10 metres. Okay, I think I've got Lima Uniform 2 Bravo. I may have that wrong. Please correct me, sir, if I've got that wrong. My name is Mark. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo. I'm 20 kilometres southeast of the City of London. So Lima Uniform 2 Bravo. This is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, southeast of England.
Okay, Mark. Excelente, Mark. My 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, Lima United 2, my Bravo, Lima Uniform 2, Mexico, Brazil. My name Armando, Mendoza, Argentina, 55655. Tu señales por Mendoza, ¿cuál?
Yeah, QSL, I have the call sign correct now. Lima Uniform 2, Mike, Bravo. And thank you for the 5 and 5, 5 and 6. You are 5 and 2 today, Armando. 5 and 2 with some QSB. Today, Armando, I'm using a 5/8 wave vertical antenna, a very simple antenna. I'm using 100 watts and my radio is IC-7300 by ICOM. That's the story, Armando. Back to you, sir.
Okay. Fine tus señales, excelente. Por momento algo de QSB. Bueno, muy bien, Márquez. My Alfa Romeo Kilo, Márquez. Gracias por el contacto. Confirmo cuál es Lima Uniform 2, my Bravo. QSL, gracias. 73, bye bye.
Gracias, mi amigo, and 73 to your family as well. Bye-bye, take care, good luck.
Gracias, good night. Que la pases lindo. 73.
QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, in southeast of England. Nothing is heard. CQDX, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, 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 CQDX on 10. Yeah, Kilo Bravo 9, Alpha Papa Echo. Very good afternoon to you. Thank you for calling me. My name is Mark. That's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo. And I'm 20 kilometres or 15 miles southeast of the City of London. I'll give you a report on the next over, but let's find out who you are and where you are, please. Kilo Bravo 9, Alpha Papa Echo. This is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot.
Thanks very much, Martha. Here's Kilo Bravo 9. Because here's out, like Alpha, Lima, Foxo. Back to you.
Okay, Alf, and thank you for the 57. Very pleased to be giving you such a good signal. Your signal to me, though, 5 and 2, but with QSB in the wrong direction. So you're peaking 5 and 2 to me, and then you're dropping down to about a 3 and 1. But it's no problem. I've got all of the information that I needed to make this legal, we'll say. But today, Alf, I'm using a 5/8 wave vertical antenna, a very simple antenna. I'm using a ICOM 7300 and the power output just 100 watts from the radio. That's the story, Alf. Back to you there in Illinois.
Thanks very much for
Take it easy. Keep doing well. You sound very loud over here. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Alf, an absolute pleasure to meet you for the first time, and I wish that you'll come and find me again on 10 metres, and we'll say hello again, and hopefully your signal will be stronger. But until then, take care. 73 to you and all your family. Good luck and bye-bye, old friend. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot in the southeast of England. Nothing is said.
One Delta with 100 watts output power and the antenna TH11DX from high gain, 5 band 11 element C, 23 175 feet up. Weather is sunny, temperature around 16 degrees Celsius here. Probably not going too much warmer than this. It's cooled down quite a bit. We had some very cool nights, at least on the last night. It was around maybe 4 or 5 degrees C, and it's supposed to be only 2 degrees C with possible frost in a few areas, possible in the forecast for tonight there. So it's supposed to warm up again in the coming weeks. So we're not going to get up to these really high again, I'm sure. Back to you there, Mark. Mike 0, Julia, Charlie, Fox, Victor Echo 3, Lima, Oscar Echo.
Yeah, VE3 LOE M0 JCF. Ralph, nice to meet you again. And for the 4th time, yes, I can confirm that we worked a year ago. We worked at both sides of the year as well. We worked in January and we worked in November, you're quite correct. And of course, the time before that was 2022. So it looks like we're going to make this a date once a year or maybe twice a year, every 2 years, I don't know. But great to get you in the logbook again for 2025. You're just 53, peaking 53 to me, and with QSB dropping down to about a 4 and 1, but perfectly readable throughout, Ralph. I'm using IC-7300. I'm using a 5/8 wave vertical, and I'm using just 100 watts. And my note says that last time I lost you due to QSB, so hopefully that won't happen this time. Whiskey X-ray here, not too bad in the southeast of England today. We peaked at about 20 degrees, 20 degrees Celsius. It's the end of summer, the beginning of autumn, and we're having a small bounce in temperature here. It's gone a little bit warmer, but it looks like as from next week the temperature is going to drop possibly into single figures during the daytime, and then that's it. We'll be looking forward to Christmas. So that's the story, Ralph. Really not a lot has changed since I last spoke to you, but great to get you in the book again. VE3 LOE M0 JCF.
Yeah, very fine, Mark. M0 JCF, V3 LOE returning. I'll make this my final. I have to get out of here for lunch here in a couple of minutes anyway. It's high noon here in about 4 or 5 minutes here, so I have to hang the lunch up and have my dinner actually, and then we'll see what the band does after that. Nice opening today, much better than over the last many weeks here. Yesterday it was pretty good, and the day before I think it was not too bad here, so we were seeing an improvement in propagation. You know, lots of power and big antennas to be able to work the DX here on 10 meters. And find on all of those that information there. I've not that much has changed here, although I've made quite a few contacts on other bands, especially 6 meters. I've done a lot of contacts, mostly MCH, and those on bands where the propagation has been very marginal otherwise, and basically using the weak signal I prefer the work side band, though, in any case. Anyway, we'll say very best 7.3. The band is up and down quite a bit. It did peak at about a 7 or an 8. I have a very low noise level here, so everything is 100% copy of all year. 7.3 is there, so I guess it is. To you then, Mark, and we'll look forward to the next contact here. And maybe compare notes further down the log. Good luck in the DX there. Mike 0, Julius Charlie Fox, Victor Echo 3, Lima Oscar Echo, now going QRT 7.3, Mark.
Yeah, V3LOE M0 JCF with that final. An absolute pleasure as always, Ralph. And you'll always find me CQing on 10 or even 12 metres. Come and find me. Yeah, we'll do it again, and we'll swap notes. Always good fun to do that, especially with regulars. And it's nice if you've got that idea in your head. Meteorology and ionosphere, that sort of thing. It's always good. Of course, we're coming up to the equinox on the 22nd, and so it can only improve. So long as the sun plays ball, it can only improve propagation after the equinox in 2 days' time. Good luck. Have a great weekend, what's left of it for you, and until the next time, bye-bye for now.
Yeah, QSL signals are down a bit, but not the 100% mark. That 7.3, they will need to on 12 one of these days. All of contact is in on 10 here, according to my log. This being the fourth one, so it is my favorite band here also. 7.3, and good luck.
Yeah, totally in agreement with you. Good luck, bye-bye. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, southeast of England. Nothing is heard. CQDX 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, CQDX 10 metres.
Kilo Charlie 3, Romeo Foxtrot.
Kilo Charlie 3, Romeo Foxtrot. Very good afternoon to you, and thanks for calling me. My name is Mark, that's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm about 15 miles southeast of the city of London in the county of Kent. I'll give you a report and some details if you'd like on the next over, but back to you. Kilo Charlie 3, Romeo Foxtrot. This is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot.
You are 5'5" right now in western Pennsylvania, Papa Alpha. The name here is Bob. Bravo, Oscar, Bravo.
Yeah, Bob, and aka Father Christmas, aka Santa Claus. I've just logged you into a QRZ and I'm seeing that photograph. You're a bit early for me, Bob, a bit early. You're peaking 5 and 5, maybe a little bit higher today, Bob, and thanks for the 5 and 8 going downwards. Yeah, the band isn't fantastic this afternoon, at least not for me. I'm using, Bob, a 5/8 wave vertical antenna, so a very simple antenna, just 100 watts from the back of the radio, and that radio is an IC-7300. But glad to be making a trip to Pennsylvania. Back to you, Bob. KC3 RRF M0 JCF.
I'm using an IC-7300 also. I've got a hex beam up at about 12 meters, and I'm operating at 600 whiskey right now.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, the signal strength is fairly consistent on 5, but the audio is good and strong, and it's a good, what I call a good DX audio. There's not a lot of bass. It's not like you're trying to be a DJ. It's good, crisp and sharp. Bob, back to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm in the process of starting my beard again. Typically I'll shave it off in January because I like to see a lot. And sometime around the end of August, early September, we start again for the Christmas beard. Over.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Well, it's funny you should say that, because just a few weeks ago I started growing my beard, but I never let it get long, Bob. I just let it get to just maybe a quarter of an inch, and then my wife starts to complain, and so then it all comes down again. I either shave it close or I shave it off and start again, so it never gets to the fantastic set that you've got. And as I say, you really look the part. If you want the Whiskey X-Ray here in the southeast of England today, Bob. It's been a good day. It's been nice and sunny. We've had about 20 degrees Celsius, which is relatively warm for this time of the year, but we're noticing a low pressure system coming from the north, and so it looks like winter is coming. It's going to be just there on the doorstep for us, and it'll be coming down from the north as from next week. So really today was the last day to really enjoy it. We may get a few bumps as we always do in September, but it looks like we're here for the winter. We never get the snow. I've got to say, we do not get the snow in the southeast of England like I used to when I was a youngster, but I'm sure that where you are, you're knee deep in it later in the winter, giving it even more magical experience for Christmas. Back to you.
Yeah, we're in the what they call the Laurel Highlands, so we're up at about 2,100 feet, and there's actually 3 ski resorts near us, and we get typically, I'd say, 70 inches of snow a winter, so it's cold and we get snow.
Well, it sounds absolutely magical. I've got to say, though, at my age, I'm 62, so I'm not that old, but I have got to the point now where I'm actually glad that we don't get the snow anymore. When I was riding motorcycles back in the day, you know, it was a fight with death, and now, you know, I'm quite pleased that we don't have that snow. I like to see it, don't get me wrong. I do like to go out into the countryside when it's been snowing, and it's quite magical to look at, but I don't like the cold. My old bones don't like the cold anymore. Bob, back to you.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I just love the cold. I do a lot of skiing, and a couple years ago, I went to Alaska to learn how to mush a dog sled, and it was minus 25 and lots of snow. So that's kind of what I like to do. I'm still skiing. I'm 83 right now, and doing good so far. Over.
Oh, man, you know, 83 and you're still skiing. I think there's, I think that's quite fantastic. I have trouble walking in the snow when it's 2 inches deep, Bob, let alone skiing. And do you know, that's one thing I've never done is skied. I've never been to the European places where the skiing is popular, such as France, Switzerland, Germany, Bulgaria. I've never been to those places for the skiing. A lot of my friends used to back in the 70s and the 80s. So it's not something I've done. I can ice skate, or I used to be able to ice skate fairly well, but never done it on the snow. And I think really now, although they say it's never too late to learn, I just don't. I don't think I could do it now. I think I've got more self-preservation. Bob, back to you.
Yeah. Well, I've always been very, very active. So, and I actually have three rehomed Alaskan Huskies here, which I get out pretty well daily for about a 1.5 3-mile walk. So, I'm not as adventurous as I once was. I did a lot of real heavy-duty whitewater kayaking, but as you can hear, I'm still doing pretty good.
No, you're a credit, mate. You're an absolute credit. And you put people like me, just 62 years old, don't put me to shame. But, you know, my thing, Bob, when it comes to sports was motorcycles. You know, until fairly recently, I was racing motorcycles, both on the drag strip and on the circuits. I'm very close to Brands Hatch International Circuit. And back in the 80s, I raced there a lot, as well as other tracks around the UK. But until fairly recently, I was drag racing, you know, straight line, quarter mile. And before that, before all of that, I was doing speedway, which is very similar to your long track or your flat track, but on the very short track. So I've had a go at that as well. So that was me. It was motorcycles. But of course, when I was younger and there was no fear and it didn't hurt so much, then it was fine. Now I just couldn't keep up with the youngsters. I just don't have the family jewels, as they say, for that sort of caper. Back to you.
Yeah, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, Kilo Charlie 3, Romeo Romeo Foxtrot. I had a real good friend that was very active in motorcycles and motorcycle racing, and also kayaking. But while I knew him, he broke all kinds of things. And I know one time he was cross country and racing, and he had a cast on his foot, and he painted it black so that everybody would think it was a boot over.
Yeah, well, that takes something quite different. You know, anyone who wants to race with broken bones, all credit to them. But to paint the cast black, oh, that is just something else. And I can imagine you only need to get through some damp grass or something like that, and that's it. There's no more cast on the leg. No, do you know what? Back in the day, I would have done it. It wouldn't have worried me. But no, too much self-preservation now. Back to you.
Yeah, well, I was with him one time kayaking. He broke his collarbone, and when they took the X-ray, they kind of panicked because they thought he broke his neck, and he said, no, that's an old injury. I know he's broken his leg, broke his arm, broke both wrists, broke his leg. So he's gone now, but you know, he was willing to break anything to win a race. Over.
Yeah, I've been very, very lucky with my racing career. I've had lots of get-offs, and I've brought other people down as well, which is nothing to be proud of. But, you know, I've never broken bones on the racetrack. I've broken a few on the road. My last big accident was in 2003, and I had an accident on the road on a motorcycle, and I broke 2 ribs and my collarbone, and that was enough for me. You know, being injured was one thing, but being no longer alive, it just made me realise how mortal I am, and I think it brings it home to you. And of course, back then I was only in my 40s, but you know, I stayed on the track for a while after that because that was the safest place to be. But you know, it's all a test, isn't it, of our character and our resolve. And it sounds like that with the skiing and the outdoor pursuits that you've got at your age, it sounds like you're not going to give up anytime soon, Bob.
No, I'll tell you a funny story. Back when I was younger, my friends gave me a surprise 50th birthday party. And I was a surprise because I was only 45, but they didn't think I'd live to 50 with the level of kayaking I was doing. So they wanted to get in there early.
Okay, well, kayaking, the only place I've done kayaking, in fact, it wasn't really kayaking, it was just, you know, a bit of drifting down the river, was in New Zealand, and that was back in 1993. And back then, I found it hard work back then, but I'd imagine that you like a bit of white water as well. And, you know, and that sort of adventure. I think a nice serene lake or something like that is good enough for me. Rushing down a river at 30 miles an hour in basically a small narrow boat is it sounds like something else. Back to you.
Yeah, back in the 90s I went down to Grand Canyon in 1990. That was I think it was about 14 days, 240 miles to whitewater. And then I went to Chile, and I went to Costa Rica a couple times, and I was doing some pretty heavy-duty stuff back in the day. Over.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a fantastic adventure. It's interesting as well because I've been to the Grand Canyon. I went there in 1990 myself, and I was with friends, and we, you know, we ventured down the canyon on foot. To the bottom and then turned around and came back up. And who knows, Bob, you may well have come tearing past me in your kayak. Back to you.
Could very well have been. Yeah, the canyon's a very special place for me. I've been there, I think, 4 times in addition to kayaking it. So, you know, I really like it. And as an aside, I really like the UK. I've been there quite a number of times, and I totally enjoy it. My father was born in the UK, actually, but my grandmother was an American citizen, but her family is all over there, so we visited fairly regularly, and I'm in contact with them on a regular basis. Over.
Now, that is fantastic. You know, I've been to the United States about 15, 16 times now, mainly in the Florida area, California, Arizona, Nevada. you know, and done a lot of travelling around the western side with friends. On the eastern side, Florida in particular, it was mainly for holidays, you know, the usual suspects, Disney, etc. But I like the Mexican Gulf Coast, or the Gulf of America as it's now called, and you know, we quite often stay somewhere along that coast. The last time I was there was 2023, and in fact the first time I went to the USA was 1987. So I've got quite a few friends in the USA, and likewise in Canada as well. Our next trip, actually, my wife and I are talking about going to Canada, and possibly starting in Vancouver and driving across the whole country until we get to Newfoundland or Nova Scotia, maybe around that way, and then come back into Montreal and fly home. It'll be quite a big adventure for us. I'm retired now. I retired a few years ago. My wife isn't, but there's no problem with her taking the time off. She's a few years younger than me. She's still in her 50s. She won't mind me telling you that. So that will be that. But the other place that she wants to visit, that I have, that she never has, is California. And she wants to do the Pacific Coast Road. Now, I've driven from San Francisco right the way down to San Diego, and she'd like to see that herself. So that'll probably be next on the list, and that's probably, I'm not sure we'll do that one next, or if we'll do the Canada trip next, but it's all there, it's all on the back burner. Bob, back to you.
Yeah, the Canada trip, Vancouver, Victoria, is just a really spectacular area, and when you're thinking about your trip, think about the Icefields Parkway, Jasper, Banff. That's a really remarkable, one of the most beautiful highways I've ever been on. And you know, if you would ever get to the Pennsylvania area, you're welcome to stop off here. We'd love to have you. We got a big house.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. And do you know what? If I was to take up the offer, Bob, of everyone that's invited me to the northeast United States, I'll tell you what, I'd never be back home. It's a fantastic. The hospitality that I've been offered is fantastic, and second to none, really. But you know, it's a big, wide world, and we're sort of slowly running out of time now. Although you are a testament to the fact that time can march on a lot longer. But you know, Pennsylvania and all of those states in the northeast, the only state that we've been to is Maine. And we've been to Maine, and we saw, you know, the autumn leaves. We were in Maine for the autumn, and it was absolutely glorious. But yeah, we should really do that road trip around the northeastern states, New York, Pennsylvania, you know, Ohio, around there. My oldest daughter's been to Cleveland, Ohio, and done some touring around there. So you know, she says it's fantastic. So yeah, we should make that a small road trip, maybe take 3 or 4 weeks and just encompass everything around there in one big hit. But you know, as I say, so many things to do, lots of places to see, and time is getting shorter. Back to you.
We're about 2-3 hours from Cleveland, so you know, once again, we're in the Laurel Highlands. It's a relatively high area. It's very picturesque, and you know, I'd recommend it. I hope someday to get back to the UK again. I've been there 14 times, and all the way up to Thursday. We have some family in Scotland, all the way down to the south coast. Big country, so much to see, so much history. It's unbelievable.
Well, you know what? That's where I've realised now as well that I have worked all around this country, but I haven't seen a lot of the country. If that makes sense, you know, I've been here, there, everywhere, north, east, south, and west of England, Scotland, Wales, but I've never really taken a lot of it in because it's always been for work. But you know, I live in the southeast. I live in what they call the Garden of England in Kent, and I'm sure you know it very well. And all of my family come from the south coast, from the West Country, so Devon and Dorset and Hampshire, around that way, and going a little bit further back, a lot of my family come from Wales. So you know, you're quite right. There's, in such a small island, there's a hell of a lot to see, and you know, you need more than just the one visit. You know, people go for a 2-week visit to England. They visit London. They might visit family members, etc. But yeah, there's just far too much to see in such a small area. I think you really need to be resident here for a while, and that's the best way to see it. You know, you come here, you spend 6 months, and then you see it. That's how I did Australia back in the day. I went with a friend to New Zealand and Australia, and in New Zealand we hired a car and literally backpacked from the top of one island to the bottom of the other island, and saw absolutely everything. That took 1 month, and then when we got to Australia, we bought a camper van and we drove around the whole country. It took us 4.5 months, 26,000 kilometres. But we saw absolutely everything you could see in Australia, and I've got no real reason to go back. I'm very, very pleased that I did it, but you know, we see so much of Australia and New Zealand in a relatively short space of time. But we found that was the best way to see things, is to just get out there for an extended period and just keep driving around until, you know, there's nothing else left to see. I'm sure there's many things we missed, but you know, I feel that, you know, I've done it, I've been there, I've got the t-shirt, and I'm quite happy. Back to you.
Oh yeah, what an incredible experience to have. And I think you're absolutely right. You need to drive and take your time and look at things and realize that in life you just don't have that many times when you have the time and can do those things, see everything. So anyhow, I'm going to get shooting. I think my wife's got lunch for me. And really, really good talking to you, Mark. And like I said, you've got an open invitation here. If you're ever thinking about Cleveland, come on up to the Laurel Highlands. You got my call sign, so I think I have contact information there, and we'll go from there.
You know, that's an absolutely fantastic offer, and I really do appreciate that quite warmly. I do appreciate that. I've just checked my logbook. I see we've been chatting for 20 minutes, and that is the thing with amateur radio for me. I'm very much into my constructing, home brewing, and restoration of old equipment. But when you have a rag chew, Bob, and you can talk the talk about everything other than amateur radio, that's what interests me, and that's the side of the, you know, the talking side of amateur radio I like. So you go and enjoy your lunch. I'm just looking at the clock. It's coming up to 5:30 in the afternoon here, and I'm sure that I'll be ready for an evening meal with my good lady wife very soon as well. But fantastic to meet you. I will endeavour to stay in touch, whether it's on radio or if I'm over that way. You never know, we may cross paths, or I may just knock on your front door and say, do you remember me? We had a long conversation many years ago. Who knows? Although you'll probably be in a kayak rushing the white waters. Take care, Bob. 73, good luck to you and your good lady wife. Look forward to the next time. Bye bye for now, old friend.
73, my friend. Good, great conversation, Mark, and I hope we do talk again. 73.
Yeah, good luck, Bob. Absolutely fantastic. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, southeast of England. Then nothing is heard at this time. CQDX, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, CQDX 10. CQDX on 10. Here is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, 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 CQDX 10.
Kilo 3, Mike Papa 4, Sierra Whiskey Romeo.
Okay, I think I've got a Sierra Whiskey Romeo. I also had a Kilo 3. I'll go for the Sierra Whiskey Romeo first, please. You may be one and the same, but there was at least 3 people that called me. Apologies for that. But I'll go for the Sierra Whiskey Romeo first, please. Back to you, sir.
Kilo Quebec 4, Sierra Whiskey Romeo. My name is Gary, Golf Alpha Romeo Yankee. I'm in the state of Virginia, Victor Alpha, and I have you here at a 5'7", in the state of Virginia. How come?
Yeah, Kilo Queen 4, Sierra Whiskey Romeo, Gary, Virginia. Thanks a lot for that fine report there, Gary. You're peaking 5 and 3 to me, just 5 and 3, but the name is Mark. That's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm in the southeast of England, about 15 miles southeast of the city of London, in the county of Kent. And I'll give you some more details on the next over. But yeah, got you 5 and 3 is the report with a little bit of QSB. Back to you.
Roger. Well, okay, mighty fine. Again, my name is Gary. I'm in the state of Virginia. I'm using my ST991A today with a 250-watt amplifier. On a Cushcraft R6000 vertical.
Okay, well, that's doing a fine job. You know, the FT991A was really one of the workhorses until fairly recently. It seemed like every other person I spoke to was using the 991 Alpha. I'm using the IC-7300 today. I'm using just 100 watts from the back of the radio, Gary, and just a 5/8 wave vertical antenna. It's also, the antenna's a little bit bent with the wind. Every year, the prevailing wind from the west bends it into a curve. So every year, I spin it round 180 degrees to straighten it slightly. And so it's slightly S-shaped. And when I checked the other day, there was still a curve in it. So my radiation angle may not be as good as I thought it was. It may be a little bit high, making the skip a little bit shorter. But yeah, we've got you in the logbook. Absolutely no problems. Back to you.
Roger, as do I. I'm logging you in on my QRZ page as we speak. Okay, my friend, yeah, several trying to get in, and they would like to get in and talk to you also, Mark, from England. Mike Oscar, Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. This is Kilo Quebec 4, Sierra Whiskey Romeo. Cheers and biz.
An absolute pleasure to meet you for the first time, Gary. I hope we have many more. Don't be a stranger. I'm always CQing on 10 metres, so I'm sure that we'll catch up again. And if not, you'll find me on 12 metres doing exactly the same thing. Good luck, and 73 to you and the family, and take care. Bye-bye, old friend. Okay, I think there was a Kilo 3 station. If you're still there, thank you for waiting. Is the Kilo 3 still there, please?
Kilo 3, Mike Papa Golf.
Yeah, Kilo 3, Mike Papa Golf. Now, that's a great call sign, MPG. Not as good as MPH, but never mind. But joking aside, the name is Mark. I'm in the southeast of England, about 20 kilometres southeast of the city of London, and I'll give you a report on the next over. So Kilo 3, Mike Papa Golf. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Okay, very good. Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. This is K3MPG. Excuse me, you're 5'8", 58 here into the state of Delaware.
Okay, well, thanks for the 5 and 8. Yeah, you're peaking 5 and 7. You've got a great strong audio as well, what I would call a strong audio. It's very clear, very loud, and probably quite good for DX working. Today, I'm using a 5/8 wave vertical antenna. I'm using just 100 watts from the back of the radio, no amplifier. And you may have heard on the previous QSO, I'm using a rather bent 5/8 wave vertical antenna, which is angled slightly eastways, so the radiation angle is a little bit steep going in your direction, so it's it needs straightening. I must get up there sometime this weekend and put it straight to give me a better radiation angle to the horizon. So back to you, K3 MPG M0 JCF.
Okay, very good, Mark. Yeah, I switched to my vertical, and you kind of dropped off. I'm on a Mosley 4-element beam right now, and running about 1,200 watts. The transceiver's an ICOM 7610. So tell me a bit about what you're running there, over.
Yeah, as I say, IC-7300, Michael. So I've got the little baby brother to the 7610. Certainly, it's only 100 watts from the back of the radio. So what's that? 10 dB down on what you're using. Maybe a little bit more than 10 dB down. And yeah, it's just, you know, the 5/8 wave is just convenient for me. I'm not big on antennas. I'm a very lazy antenna man. So it's there because two things: one, it's easy, and number two, it's quite unobtrusive. When the propagation comes down the other side of the solar maximum and we lose 10 and 12 meters apart from sporadic E, I've got a multi-band trapped vertical that's going to go in its place. But with the traps and the radials and everything, you know, it can be seen a bit further along the street. And so far, I think the neighbours have been very good, because they're quite ugly. When you know, I mean, from the purist sense, you know, us amateur radio operators, we think they look fantastic. But people like the station manager and the nearby neighbours, they don't think it looks so aesthetically pleasing. But that's the story there. Back to you, K3 MPG M0 JCF.
Well, I'm quite fortunate. One neighbor is excellent, no trouble at all. One neighbor, not so good. About 4 years ago, their pit bull came in my yard and bit me. Kind of crazy. In the past, the dog came in the yard and I'd feed it, walk it back to their house. But for this reason, I don't know what it was, 4 years ago he got mad and bit my left hand. So we had a discussion, and you know, they tried to lie about it. They said I was on their property, and no, I wasn't. So I said, well, I don't want to be mean, I don't want to be nasty and cause bad feelings, but I've got friends that visit, I got family that visit. If he comes over again and gets aggressive, he's going to go home in a bag.
That sounds quite final there. Well, you know, I do agree with you though. You know, I mean, we've got a dog. Well, it's my daughter's dog, but she moved out. She now lives in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. So we've inherited her dog. And it's only a little dachshund, and he's as good as gold. But you know what? Sometimes people have approached him and he's snarled, you know, he snapped his head around. It's very unusual, and, you know, it's very unusual to see that. But I do agree with you, you know, if the dog's on your property and everyone has had fair warning, I think sometimes you've got to protect you and yours. And as you say, you got friends and family, and especially if they're children, you know, we can't have feral animals running around. Back to you.
Yeah, like I say, the odd thing, Mark, he had come over other times and was fine. He'd kind of like, you know, wag his tail a little bit. He'd get a little gruff, but once he come over, you knew he wasn't threatened. He was fine. I even gave him bologna one day, to kind of coax him back so he'd walk back with me to their door. And I walked him through the back of the woods back to their door, and he was fine. But that one day, he just got mad, and when he kind of hunched down, he hunched his shoulders down and was scratching with his back feet. And when he showed me both sets of teeth, I knew it was going to be go time.
Well, you know, it's quite interesting. You need to keep an eye on the dogs as well. Unfortunately, my sister-in-law, they had a dog, a lovely dog, as friendly dog as you could ever get. He was getting on in years, not particularly old. I would say about 10 maybe, and just literally overnight went absolutely mad. It was biting everyone. They didn't know what to do. It was totally out of character. They had to lock it in a room, and when they finally got the vet to take him away, and he was in a very poor state, and it turned out that it was a brain tumour, you know. And I think these animals, you know, you got them all of your life, and you know, they just change literally overnight. Now, if it's very uncharacteristic for that, it could be an illness, you know. So it's something that you can keep an eye on. Maybe there are changes going on, you know. And you know, what you don't need is for that doctor's snap like my sister-in-law's did, where they literally go off the rails, and that you couldn't find any rhyme or reason until they had an autopsy done. Very sad, but it happens, and it literally happens that quick. Back to you.
Yep, and another thing too, dogs are a product of how they are raised and how they're and how they're disciplined where they live. So these people, I don't really think they care much about the animal, to be honest with you. But you know, I've had pets and dogs all my life. I mean, hell, back 15 years ago, I even had like a little 3-foot snake I kept in an aquarium because the kids thought it was neat to have around. So it's just one of those things, Mark. Well, I'm going to give it back to you for a final. I'm sure there's others that would like to get you in the log. I think you had them stacked up there. I heard the guy in Virginia, I heard him very weak on his vertical, but I did hear him. That's probably ground wave for me. So you take care, enjoy your evening, and thank you for coming back to the call. Mike 0, Japan, Charlie Fox. This is Kilo 3, Mike Papa Golf 73. God bless.
Yeah, K3 MPGM 0 JCF for that final. Well, it was an absolute pleasure to get you in the logbook today for the first time. Logged you on QRZ as well as my paper logbook. The paper logbook littered with notes, just in case we speak again in the next few days, and I can always refer back. If it's longer than a few days, if it's a few weeks, I'll never find you in a paper logbook. Too many of them going back years and years, and I've had that before where people said, do you remember we talked about XYZ? And if I hadn't logged them in QRZ, no, I had no idea. But yeah, I hope you stay safe, and everything is resolved with the neighbours. I'm sure it'll all be fine. You know, it's a crazy world in which we live, and we just need to keep everyone on the same page and keep everyone in line, and we can all be happy together. Well, as I say, I tend to ramble when I'm saying goodbye, but I will say goodbye. Best 73 to everyone around you, and good luck, and yeah, look me up again, and when you do, be sure to come in. We'll carry on the conversation, probably take a different route, but great to get you in the book, and bye bye for now. K3 MPGM 0 JCF. Cheers, old friend.
Yes, sir, Mark. 7-3, thank you for the chat. My pleasure. 100% my pleasure. Mike 0, Japan, Charlie Fox, Kilo 3 miles per gallon. God bless. Enjoy the band.
Yeah, it's a great call sign. Very easy to remember. Excellent. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, southeast of England. Okay, there was a station that replied, unfortunately, your report would be 1 and 1. I knew you were there. I just could not hear anything you said. I'm sure it was your call sign, but I just could not hear you at this time. I'm in the southeast of England, 15 miles southeast of London. I'm not too sure where you were calling from. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Maybe in a few minutes the propagation will go in our favour. But until then, I'll just keep on calling. CQDX, CQDX 10. Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot, listening on 10. Nothing is heard. CQDX. Charlie, Foxtrot, CQDX 10. Okay, I heard a ZX6, the ZX6, please go again, sir. Your signal was weak to me, but I will try to get you in the logbook. ZX6, please go ahead. Not too sure now. I've got ZS6, Zulu Sierra 6, possibly Alpha. You're very weak. I would say you were on that over. You were about a 3 and 1, maybe a 3 and 2, but very difficult to hear you. But no problem. I've got all the time in the world to get you in the logbook today, sir. Thank you for your patience. The Zulu Sierra 6, possibly with Alpha. Please try again, sir. Okay, I think I've got Zulu Sierra 6 Alpha Foxtrot, and I will double check that in QRZ, but my name is Mark. That's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm in the southeast of England, about 20 kilometres southeast from the city of London. So I think I've got John down there in South Africa. If that's a QSL, I'll give you a report on the next over. I did hear the call sign, so your signal was definitely readability 5, but I'll give you a signal strength on the next over. To Zulu Sierra 6 Alpha Foxtrot, this is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. Yeah, thank you for the 5 and 5. You're peaking 5 and 4, but with a very fast and deep QSB. So you're peaking 5 and 4, no problem hearing you then, but then you're dropping down to about a 3 and 1. I'm using just a 5/8 wave vertical antenna, so it's a very simple antenna. I'm only using 100 watts, and the radio is an IC-7300 by ICOM. That's the story. John, back to you. ZS6 AF. This is M0 JCF.
Okay, sir. No, enjoy, and thank you for the contact. 100 watts and a high gain T8 Bye-bye.
John, an absolute pleasure, and thanks for the contact. Always great to talk to you down there on the other side of the world. Down there as you go into your spring and summer, and we enter our autumn and winter. Good luck, John. Thank you again. Find me again, CQ in on 10, and we'll do it again, and we'll have a proper QSO. Good luck, old friend, and thank you. Bye-bye. 73 QRZ Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. Okay, nothing is heard. CQ.
And enjoy the rest of the weekend as well. Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox 20 RPS. Bye bye for now.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Take care. Good luck. QRZ Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, looking for DX on 10 metres.
Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox, Norway 2 Tokyo Mike.
Okay, I've got Norway to Tokyo. I heard you call my call sign, and then I heard the Norway to Tokyo. I think I was missing a letter, but the name is Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm just 15 miles southeast of the city of London. So let's find out who you are, where you are, and I'll give you a report. And thank you again for calling me. The station with Norway to Tokyo. This is M0 JCF listening.
Yeah, M0 JCF from Norway to Tango Mary. November to Tokyo Mike. Fine business, Mark's been reading the mail a while. Just wanted to give you a report and let you know you're making it to stateside. You're about a 5 and 5, peaking 5 and 6. The band is, I got quite a bit of QS Baker, but you're making the trip no problem. My handle is John Juliet, Ontario, Honolulu, November. Running about 700 watts in an 11-element Yagi at 20 meters. M0 JCF and 2TM.
Yeah, thanks, John. November 2, Tango Mike. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. Yeah, you're 700 watts into the 11-element Yagi. That is a monster antenna. He's giving me 5 and 5 as well, and with the same QSB. I have been working quite a few stations stateside, John, in the last 2 hours, as well as South America and South Africa. But mainly it's been USA stations down the eastern seaboard from Maryland right the way down into Virginia. But today, John, I'm using an IC-7300. I'm only 100 watts out the back, so quite a few dB down on you. And the antenna is very simple. It's a 5/8 wave vertical. So I'd imagine that your 11-element Yagi doing all the heavy lifting in this QSO. That's the story. N2 TM M0 JCF.
Yeah, fine business, Mark. M0 JCF and 2TM. We are making the trip no problem. Band is changing. You're 5 and 3 to 5 and 6, so the band is all over the page. And I don't run a preamp, so that's really your report. I won't hold it. I just wanted to give you a report. I was reading the mail, and I've got to go outside and do a few errands before the sun really peaks. I promised my dog I'd take her for a walk. So with that, let me use some cheers and beers. Beautiful signal, nice audio. M0 JCF and to Tokyo Mike.
Absolutely fantastic, John. As I say, this is our first contact. I've just checked on QRZ, and it doesn't look like we've worked before, at least not with my M0 call sign. And I've just clocked your surname as well. And if you weren't dog walking, I would have asked you about that, because of course it's very famous, isn't it? Famous for many reasons, but the most important one, I just wanted to know if you were related. I know that's a silly thing to ask, because there's got to be more than 2 of you in the world. But yeah, fantastic surname there, and we'll talk about it another time. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for the report, very much appreciated, and I look forward to catching up with you one day for a proper QSO, and we can chew the fat, put the world right. Good luck, and thank you again, John. November 2, Tango Mike, M0 JCF. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, Mark, thanks. I would stay, but I promised the dog a walk, because we're going to see like a Bobby Flay competition later this afternoon. A bunch of chefs cooking off on TV, so it should be fun. But I am not related, but trivia for 10. I had a cousin that was the youngest member of the team at Los Alamos. He was a PhD from MIT, and a bit crazy. Growing up, he was very entertaining. I had my first cigarette and drink with him when I was about 9 years old. With that, we'll leave it go. M0 JCF and 2TM.
Fantastic story. Yeah, we'll elaborate on that next time, John. Absolutely great. I like to hear those stories above and beyond amateur radio. Cheers, mate. Take care. Good luck, and bye-bye for now. Get that dog out before there's all sorts of trouble in the household. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Fox, southeast of England. Nothing is heard. CQDX, CQDX. Here is Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot. Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot. Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie, Foxtrot. Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, 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 CQDX 10. Victor Alpha 3, Alpha India, India. Little bit weak, but no problem. I heard the call sign. We've got you in the book. I think you may have my call sign a bit mixed up. It's Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. The name is Mark, that's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm 15 miles southeast of the city of London in the county of Kent. I'll give you a report on the next over and swap some details with you if the propagation holds up. Victor Alpha 3, Alpha India, India. Kevin in Canada. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, Mark in the southeast of England. Okay, VA3 AII, Kevin, Windsor, Ontario. Yeah, we've got you, no problems whatsoever. You're only peaking 5 and 1, only 5 and 1 to me, but with QSB, it's knocking you back to about a 2 and 1 to a 3 and 1, Kevin. It's not a very strong signal from your location at this time, but I'm only using a 5/8 wave vertical antenna. I'm using just 100 watts from the radio, and the radio is the very common IC-7300 by ICOM. That's the story, Kevin. VA3 AII M0 JCF. Yeah, no problem, Kevin. Well, when you're 5 and 1, you are perfectly readable. I've got zero noise on this frequency. I do have spot frequencies all over 10 meters with QR Mexico of about S1, S2, and I can see it on my scope. So I always pick a dark region. And yeah, when you're Santiago 1, it's absolutely no problem. Your readability 5, but when the readability drops off, your Santiago effectively 0 on the meter, but I can hear you. And yeah, the Antron 99, a very popular antenna in this country, lots of people using it, and of course 100 watts is all we need. In fact, we don't even need that. I quite often operate QRP, Kevin, so it's always nice when I work a station that isn't using 1 kilowatt and a 25 element beam pointing in my direction. Not to say that I don't enjoy that, but it's always nice to match 1 for 1. Back to you. Yeah, do you know what, Kevin? All I heard on that over was the QRP, the weather, and you handing it back to me. That the only words that I heard out of that last over, it looks like I even put the preamp on, and of course all I brought up was mainly noise, and I could just about hear you in the back of the box. So I won't hold it with you today, Kevin. As I say, I think the band may be changing as well. The band may be closing to me, at least between us. So it's a great pleasure to work you for the first time. Great to get you in the logbook, but always listen out for me on 10 and 12 meters. I'm always CQing rather than dial spinning, and when conditions are good, Kevin, we'll play QRP. We'll get our power down to 5 watts or less, and we'll just make it work and have a bit of fun. But if you can still hear me, I wish you and the family best 73. Enjoy what's left of the weekend, and catch up with you soon. And great pleasure, as I say, to get you in the book. Victor Alpha 3, Alpha India India, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox. Okay, nothing is heard. Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot will shortly be going QRT. Unless anyone comes in who wants a report, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, just listening one more time for DX. Okay, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot is now QRT. This frequency is clear for use. Frequency is clear for use. Thank you to anyone who called in and I didn't hear you. Apologies for that. Another day. Frequency clear for use.